What's up, everybody? I'm Cal, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make your very own Minecraft texture pack. Before we get started on the textures themselves, let's cover some of the software you're going to need. So obviously you're going to need a copy of Minecraft. You're going to need some sort of image manipulation software. You could use Paint, you could use GIMP. I am using Photoshop. And you're going to need access to your app data folder so that you can access the Minecraft files. Now, if you've never accessed the Minecraft folder on your computer before, I'll go ahead and link a quick tutorial in the description down below on how to get to this particular folder. But once you're here, what you're going to want to do is open up the versions folder and then find the version of Minecraft that you'd like to create a texture pack for. And we're in 1.16.5 right now, so I'm going to go ahead and go in there. And what we need to do is open this jar, but we need to open it in a file extractor. And what we're looking for is the assets folder. So right here. And I'm just going to go ahead and go back to the Minecraft folder here and go into resource packs. And then you're going to want to create a folder here. So I've got Hello World that I created earlier. And let's go ahead and just drag the assets folder in. Okay, so now we've got one of the three basic things that you're going to need in order to create your resource pack. Now the assets folder contains all of the textures and files that make the textures work in Minecraft. But before this will be a functional resource pack, we actually need to add a JSON file, and you'll want to include a picture that's like the pack image. So let's go ahead and grab those from my texture pack. All right, so here's my texture pack in the extractor, and you can see I've got a pack.mc meta and a pack.png. So I'm going to go ahead and move those both over to our Hello World pack. Okay, let's go ahead and open up the pack.mc meta. And you're going to want to open this up in just a program like Notepad, just something that's easy to edit. And so you've got a little code in here. Basically, this is just telling Minecraft what format the pack is in, so it knows where to look for files. You can also add a description. You can add more details here. So pack format 6 is the one that Minecraft uses for 1.16.5. Well, it's actually 1.16.3 and up right now. They change the pack format every couple of iterations. If we wanted to make a pack for 1.16, it would actually be pack format 5. So for our purposes, we're going to keep that at 6. And let's go ahead and rename this pack to How to Resource Pack. And just hit Control S to save that. And we'll go ahead and just keep this pack.png for now. Okay, so at this point, if we were to take these three things and add them to an archive, it needs to be a .zip, we would have a functional Minecraft resource pack. Of course, this hello world.zip would need to go into the resource packs folder, and we would need to select it in Minecraft. But it would be a resource pack that just has the vanilla textures in it. So let's go ahead and get rid of that for now and start working on the assets that we want to include in our pack. Okay, first things first, I want to get rid of everything that we don't actually need in here. Okay, so I just finished cleaning out all of the files that we aren't going to need, but let's go ahead and go through the file structure now. So we've got our assets. So within the Minecraft folder, we've got block states. Now this is mostly code, so this is the JSON files. And if we open up one of these, you can see this is telling Minecraft that the model for the crafting table is such. So we're not actually going to be messing with any of these, but it's good to keep them in your texture pack to make sure that you don't get overridden by another texture pack you've applied. So if you don't have a crafting table.json and you use two packs and the other pack does have a different crafting table.json that doesn't reference what you want it to reference, then it's going to override your pack even if your pack's on top. So it's good to keep these in your texture pack, but you don't want anything that you're not actually updating the textures for. So we've got the block states for the three blocks that we're going to be working on: crafting table, the iron block, and the torch. And then here we've also got the models. So again, these files need to be kept for the ones that you're going to be working on. And for the items, there's actually a file for all 8 of the files that we're going to be working on. And then finally, we've got our textures folder. And this is where you're going to have the actual .pngs for each of the items or each of the textures that you want to include in your pack. So there's block textures, and I've gone ahead and we're going to be working on these. So we've got a simple block, just the iron block. And for this one, that one texture gets applied to every side of the block. For the torch, this texture gets wrapped around much like a block. And then the crafting table, one of those JSON files actually specifies that for the top of the crafting table, it uses this texture, and then for the side, it uses this, and then for the front, it uses this. All right, in the item folder, we've got the item textures we're going to be working on. So we're going to redo the iron texture, and we're going to redo the textures for the iron armor. And then in the models folder, you've got armor, and there's 2 layers for iron armor. And we're going to redo the iron armor textures as well. All right, at this point, all we need to do is get to work on the textures themselves. And I'll go ahead and open up the torch file in the image editor of my choice. Okay, so this is what the vanilla torch texture looks like. And for the purposes of this pack, what I would like to do is just tone down the brightness a little bit and desaturate the wood color a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this texture right here, this color, and we just want to strip away a little bit of that color. So let's say we want to do that. And we'll just go right down the side like this. And it does get a little bit darker at the bottom, so maybe we'll use a little bit darker texture. It's actually pretty close to the other one, so let's lighten that up a bit. There we go. And then take that a little bit darker. Okay. And who knows? Let's say we want to make the flame, I said a little bit less orangey. Maybe we want a green flame torch. It's a little bit dark. There we go. Even brighter for that one. All right, so the torch is done. One other thing that I like to do, and this isn't available in every software program, but you can add a little bit of noise to it just to break up how flat it looks right now. So you can see just adding a little bit of noise can add just a little bit of detail to it. If you really wanted to go in and do a good job of this, you would want to do it by hand. But for our purposes, let's just let's add a little bit of noise. Go ahead and save that again. That way it's not quite as flat. Okay, so for the iron block and all the other iron textures in this Hello World texture pack, I actually want to do something slightly different than what we did for the torch. I want to make it all look sort of like wrought iron, sort of like the anvil. So what I've done is I've actually opened up the anvil top texture over here. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go ahead and ink drop to grab some of these colors and bring them back over to our iron block here. And basically I'm just going to paint them in nice and easy here, basically going over the darker parts, kind of whatever feels right to me. So this is our second darkest color, just kind of going in. Now, if you want to get fancy here, you could obviously redo the entire block. You could change the texture of it altogether, but we're really just going for a color swap today. Okay, so I'm actually going to use the dodge tool here in Photoshop to lighten up a couple sections of this just a little bit. And you could obviously do this by hand if you're using a tool that doesn't have the dodge tool available or something similar. But I just kind of want to add that little bit of shine back in, and looks pretty good to me. Let's go ahead and add a quick noise filter. That's a little bit much for me. I think maybe just 2%. Just again to break up that monotony a little bit, and save it. And our iron block is done. Okay, next up, the crafting table. Let's go ahead and start with the top. Now for this one, I basically want to apply the same colors that I did to the iron block to the edges here. Basically make it look like it's wrapped in iron. So let's go ahead and grab this, head back to the crafting table. I'm gonna go ahead and do that and that. And I'm pretty happy with this, but we could do just a quick color swap, I think, just to show something different. Let's go ahead and make it green as well, or maybe this nice turquoise color. Okay, before we move on to the next thing, let's take a quick look in Minecraft and see how things are looking. So we should see Hello World over here. Even though we haven't zipped it up yet, it'll still appear in the list as long as all the files are in the right place. So there we go. There is our new crafting table in Minecraft. Looking pretty good. Let's take a look at the torch. There's the torch with its green light. To change the flame color, you'd probably have to go in and do some coding. So maybe don't go with green torches, but this is for demonstration purposes. And there is our new iron block. All I want to do here is basically match the texture to the iron block so that it will have the same colors. So let's go ahead and grab the darkest gray here and we'll head back. And there's actually a bit of a shadow here. Let's go ahead and leave that for now. Okay, so that's basically the color swap right there. But I would like to sort of tone down these edges a little bit. I've found that these can be a little bit much for me. And I just like them to be a little bit softer. That one is done. Now, it's the same idea for the armor. We're going to get into actually making the armor itself. But let's go ahead and say that we want to leave these basically as is and maybe just tone them down a little bit. Now that we're done with the item textures, all that's left is to handle the models. And this is where the armor files are. So I'm going to handle these slightly differently than the other ones. Now, when you open this up, it's going to look a little bit crazy, but just remember that this file is being wrapped around your character. So you can see this is kind of the helmet here. This is your face, and then this is the right side, left side, top, and back. And the bottom, I believe, is this square over here. And then it's similar for the body. So right here, we've got the front of the chest, and then this is going to wrap around the back. Oh, I'm sorry. This is going to wrap around the side. This will wrap around the side. This is the back of your body piece. And then over here, we've got the arms. So if you were to add some texture, say down here, like this, that's going to be down on the hand area of your character, whereas up here is the shoulder. Let's go ahead and get rid of those. And then over here, these are the boots. So the first thing that I like to do with armor is actually double the resolution. So everything else is at the 16x resolution, but armor looks really, really low res because it's only got 8 pixels across. So the easiest way to do that is just to double the image size. And this is not actually going to cause any problems at all. We just want to double that to 128. Okay, so you can see here that when I doubled it with the nearest neighbor, it basically just added pixels. So rather than having 1, we've now got 4. So we've got a lot more pixels to work with, which means we can add a lot more detail if we want to. We're still not going to do anything crazy here, but let's go ahead and see if we can add a little bit of detail to this armor. Okay, so that's a pretty rough set of armor that I've got going on over here, but that's all right. Let's go ahead and just add a little bit of noise to... Let's take a look here at the iron armor. You can see that we've got our new item textures showing up in game, and these actually look pretty good for just a couple minutes of work here. And let's go ahead and throw those on our character and take a look at what the armor looks like. All right. Not too shabby. So you can see what I did on the arms is I just made it look like there's a little bit of chainmail sticking out the bottom. For the boots, I added some sort of laces going up. Same thing on the jacket. So some iron clasps or something like that. And then on the hands, he's got like a little bit of an iron bracelet on. And it looks a little low to me, so let's go ahead and tweak that ever so slightly here in Photoshop. So I'm going to go ahead and just select this. This is what is creating that sort of iron band, and we're going to cut that out, paste it, and I'm just going to move it up a little bit. And then, of course, I'll need to merge these layers back together. So there we go, and save, back in game, reload those textures. And there we go. That's a little bit better placement for those iron bracelets. Okay, so for that second layer, that's actually the layer that's used for the leg piece. So you can see if I take off the chest plate and the boots, we've still got the base game texture for the legs. So let's go ahead and open up that iron layer 2 in Photoshop and apply the same techniques that we did for layer 1. And again, I started with the image size, just went ahead and doubled that. And if you're using Photoshop, I do recommend hard edges, otherwise you'll get some pixels that are a little transparent, which doesn't render as transparent in the game, so not where you want to go. So one thing I will sometimes do is sort of just like color block it out here. Let's go all dark gray and just see where this is going to show up in game. So I've got that thin line there. I haven't changed anything up here yet. I believe this is actually the top of each leg. So let's go ahead and just do that. And we got that thin line. That should be that bottom line just above my character's feet. And I forget where this is. So let's go ahead and save this, reload those textures, and see what we're working with. All right, so now we can clearly see that that extra bit over on the right is sort of the midsection. So we might want to actually use similar textures to sort of match the chest piece, because this is going to appear right below that chest piece or right beneath that chest piece on a character. So I'm actually going to go back to Iron Layer 1. Let's open that up. And I just kind of want to grab the chest piece here. Let's just go ahead and get all of it. So I'm going to copy that. So let's go ahead and just move this down. Well, how low is it over here? So over here, it's 2 pixels above. So let's move that up 2 pixels. There we go. So what this is actually going to do, if I were to save this, and let's go ahead and just merge it down. So if I were to save this and reload it in game, it's actually going to make it look like those legs are covering our entire body with a chest plate. There you go. And if we throw on the actual chest plate, it's basically just going to make it look a little bit beefier. So adding another layer. I don't want to go quite that far, but I do want to keep a little bit of this over here in the leggings. So let's go ahead and grab an eraser, and we just want to go ahead and erase. So let's get to work here on this section. And there we go. There's our new legs. And you can kind of see the belt there going across as well. Let's throw on the rest of our armor for the complete look. And there it is. We have retextured Iron Armor for our texture pack. Here's a look from the back. Looking pretty good. Like I said earlier, I spent dozens, if not hundreds of hours on the armor in my Arms and Armor texture pack. And it takes a long time to make it look good, but this isn't a bad start. All right, there's only one thing left to do before our pack is ready, and that is to create our pack PNG. This is the image that's going to show up in the resource pack menu in Minecraft. So I usually like to reuse assets, as you can see here. This is the one that I originally used for my texture pack. I've since updated it. All right, so let's go ahead and replace the pack.png that I've got in there right now. So I'm going to go ahead and take the iron block. I'm going to go ahead and throw our torch over it. All right, that works for me. And this is the Hello World pack image. So I'm going to need to save this as... All right, so if I reload resource packs in game now and then open up the resource pack menu, we should see this image as our pack image. Resource packs. There it is, Hello World. All right. So let's take a look at what we've created here. So under assets, Minecraft, we've got block states. We've only kept the block states for the textures that we've kept in the pack. Same thing for models. And again, that's just to keep other packs from overwriting our textures. All right, and then under textures, under block, we've got a crafting table, iron block, and torch. Under item, we've got our iron armor and our iron ingot. And under models, under armor, we've got the 2 iron layers. And of course, we've got our pack.mc meta, which is just setting the pack format and the description of our pack, how to resource pack. And now all we need to do is zip these up. So I'm going to go ahead and add them to a zip archive. That's it. That's how you make a resource pack. If you like this video, please let me know in the comments down below. And if you have questions about any of the techniques that I showed off in this video, feel free to let me know and I'll do my best to answer your questions. You can also check out my resource pack, which I showcase in the video that should be on screen right now. And I do hope you'll check out some of the other videos on this channel. That's going to do it for today. Bye for now.